Hi everyone, it's Candace. I was away for the summer visiting with my family and having a wonderful time, but I'm back now and excited to get back to making videos. The card I'm making today is a Z-fold card. This video isn't so much about the products I used, but the style of the card. Isn't this a sweet card? If you look at it from the top, you can see the Z shape. It fits into a regular A2 envelope. I'm going to show you how to make the basic Z fold, and then I'll show you how to make this one. Here is the basic Z fold design. The base is 4.5 by 11. It's scored at 5.5 and then again at 2 3/4 inches. So you can fold it like this. The strip is also 11 inches long, but you can make it as wide or as narrow as you please. Your creativity will decide for you. This one is about 1 inch wide. I scored it at 4.5 inches. Then from the other end, I scored it at 3 3/4 inches. Let me show you how to make it. Here is my card base that's 4 1/4 by 11 inches. I've already scored it at the 5.5 mark, and now I'm going to score it at 2 3/4 inches. I scored it twice because the 110-pound base is pretty thick. Now I'll use the bone folder to get a sharp crease. Notice that the front folds back on itself. The next thing to do is make the strip. I've decided, as you can see here, to make it grass. I cut mine 2 by 11 inches, and I made 2 of them. You'll see why. I used green cardstock, but I wanted a little more depth of color, so I used Distress Ink's Mowed Lawn. By not separating the grass after I die cut it, I found it easier to do the shading. You may notice the bruises on my arm. I got them carrying my card making supplies when I was traveling and going from airport to airport. Yes, my bag was that heavy. I start off the grass when I'm shading. Sometimes I start off the cardstock itself, and sometimes I start off at the top of the cardstock. It really didn't make a difference because I'm going to break it apart anyway. I like using the makeup brushes. They help keep me from being so heavy-handed. So there's that, and I'll break these apart. My grass die is only 6 inches long, so after I die cut once, I moved the die to the end of the first cut to extend it. It worked beautifully. I didn't pull the first grass from the cardstock apart correctly, so I have a little tear. That's okay. I'll use that grass for the background. Now I'm going to score the grass strip. I score it at 4.5 inches on one end. Then I turn it to the other end and score it at 3 3/4 inches. I score from the straight side down because I don't want to accidentally fold over the grass blades. I fold it back and forth to help it move easily. I test it out on my card base to make sure it's been scored correctly, and it looks good. Now I'm putting these aside to work on the top panels. I give my workspace a quick cleanup before I bring in my long panel that I'll eventually cut into 3 pieces. You can see on this card that I have a light blue background with some clouds, and that's what I will do here. This cardstock is 80 pounds and measures 4 by 10.5 inches. This cloud stencil is from my favorite things. It's discolored, but it will work just fine. I have some tumbled glass distress ink, and I'm again using a makeup brush. Each time I complete a row of clouds, I give the stencil a turn so that the next layer has a different look. Now what I need to do is cut the panel in half. Then I'll leave the right side alone and cut the left one in half again. That means that my pieces, when joined together again, will be 2 5/8, 2 5/8, and 5 1/4 inches. I've lined up the panels again so you can see the continuity of the sky. This is the order I'll adhere the panels to the base. If you were to mix up the small panels, I don't think it will make too much of a difference. I wouldn't start over, that's for sure. I'm using a Kokuyo Dotliner, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, which holds my cardstock fast. I used to use an ATG gun, but I've had some difficulty with it. The tape skips on me, and the roll of tape is positioned on the left side. That makes it easy for a right-hander to see the placement, but difficult for someone who's left-handed. That may be the reason it's skipping on me. Who knows? To attach the grass, I'm using the tape runner on the right side up to the fold and attaching that to the base. Then I'm stopping because I want to add some grass onto the rest of the panel and on the middle panel. I make little marks on the back of that second strip of grass so I know where to cut it. Now I can adhere these little strips on. I run the tape along the bottom on this panel. That way I don't accidentally put the tape too far on the grass strip. And there it is. That wasn't so bad. Now you can decorate it any way you wish. I'm using the words and animals from My Favorite Things birthday. But let me tell you what else I'm using. Here is a little bunny from Lawn Fawn's Happy Easter. I'm also using this cute little mouse from Mama Elephant's Flying with Friends. I'm really speeding this part up because I'm only gluing right now. Before I adhered anything down, I stamped my sentiments. What you didn't see is that I placed my elements and the stamps on my background first, so I knew the best placement for the greetings. I have previously stamped, cut, and colored my little animals and such. I cut out blanks of them too and glued them to their backs to create depth. Coloring these die cuts took a long time, and I knew it would. I stamped and cut out multiples of them. I also cut out multiple blanks to glue onto the backs. So then I put on some music and relaxed as I colored with my Copics. I tried to make good use of my time. I colored all the rhinos at one time, then the monkeys, and so on. I also broke it down so that I would use, for example, my C1 on all the rhinos, then use my C3 on them, and lastly my C5. That way, when I put down my Copic marker, I was done with that color. There, the card is finished. You'll enjoy making the card, and your recipient will love getting it. Let me show you another Z-fold card I made today. I can't tell you where I got all of my Halloween supplies. I've been collecting them for years and didn't have them categorized by manufacturers. The house has been cut from a Cricut file, but you can find similar Halloween stamps and dies from companies like Simon Says Stamps, Ellen Hudson, Hero Arts, etc. Here's a reminder when creating the card. Make sure you fill the inside of the second panel. That will help fill the scene. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Give it a like, leave me a message, and come on back. Bye now.